Now we can record automation in two ways. We can use our mouse to move a certain parameter and record that movement, or we can map a parameter to a MIDI controller, an external MIDI controller, and use that MIDI controller to actually move the parameter while it's being recorded. So let's go on about recording automation using our mouse. I'm going to enable the automation arm right here on the transport bar, and I'm going to make a mistake for the beginning on purpose, just to show you what can be done to avoid that mistake. So I'm going to start recording automation for the volume, or let's say panning, of this track. So as you can see what's happening right now, I did record automation for this parameter, but I've also overwritten the MIDI since I've armed this track. Disregarding that I'm recording automation, it is also recording the MIDI on top of it because I did arm it for recording. So in order to avoid this, overwriting the notes that you already have on your track, you should click this plus symbol right here, and that's MIDI arrangement overdub, meaning that you are just going to be adding MIDI notes, if you add any, to the ones that already exist. You're not going to be overwriting those completely as I did just now. So I'm going to go Control Z or undo, and I'm going to enable that option, meaning that if any MIDI notes are played, they are going to be just added to the ones that exist. Since I'm not going to be playing any MIDI notes, I'm just going to be moving this panning parameter. That's the only thing that's going to be recorded. So let's try that again. So you see, I did record MIDI on top of this, but everything that was already there just stayed there. So I could also hear the melody since I was not overwriting the notes I wanted to actually play and hear. So when recording automation on top of an already existing MIDI track, I suggest you always turn on the MIDI arrangement overdub option, this plus symbol right here, so that you can actually keep the notes you already had and just record automation on top of that. Now that I have this automation done, I could just make it more straightforward. So what I'm going to do here is, you see, if I just hold this one point and move it around, the furthest I can move it is to the left to the next point and to the right to the next point adjacent to it. If I hold Shift, I can actually overwrite any automation on the left or on the right. So I can pull it down to here, take another point, move it up there, take another point, move it down here. So I'm just simplifying this automation, although I don't really have to do that. I just wanted to show you that you actually can override automation in such a way by just holding Shift, and then if you move the automation on top of an already existing one, you're just going to be overriding that automation. I can also mark automation like this, and now if I put my mouse closer to it, you see everything goes blue. Everything I just marked goes blue, and then I can move it up, down, just like that. As you see, it has some dynamics to it. It will shrink as I punch it up the wall, upwards or downwards, like that. I can also unmark it and move just one piece of that. And now I would like to show you recording automation using MIDI, a MIDI controller. Let me undo all of this. I'm just going to delete this automation like this. Right click on the parameter that was automated and say delete automation. Done. Boom. I can move that to 0 so that my instrument is in the middle as it was originally. And now to record automation with MIDI, I'm going to actually almost do the same thing, except I'm not going to be using my mouse to move this parameter. I'm going to be using my MIDI keyboard to move that parameter. So I'll click on MIDI, click the parameter I want to connect to MIDI, actually map to MIDI, and I'm going to move a controller on my MIDI keyboard. Like that. Now I can turn off the MIDI mapping functionality, and now this parameter is mapped. As you can see, when I move my knob on the keyboard, it is actually moving the panning parameter up and down, left and right to be precise. So now let's get on to recording, automation again. So record. And that's basically the same thing, just using a MIDI controller. Well, why is it better using MIDI controllers? Well, I could essentially record 2 automations or 3 automations at once, depending on how many knobs I can turn with my hands simultaneously. So if I could control 3 knobs as controllers and automate 3 parameters at the same time, I could do that. So let's do 2 of those at the same time. Let's try that. I'm gonna undo this. And let's map another parameter, let's say the volume, to another parameter knob on my MIDI controller. Okay, just click the parameter you want to MIDI map, move the knob, it's mapped. Now I can turn off the MIDI mapping. So now I have control over both panning and volume at the same time. And I can control and record both of those at the same time. Let's try that. Okay, now that was just an example, but you see how we can actually control and record more than one automation lane at the same time. Now I can also see them at the same time. Display this one underneath by clicking plus, then finding the other one. As you can see on the mixer, we have the track volume and we also have track panning automated. It's shown to us what is actually automated. So if I choose that, and I click plus, I've added that lane too. Now those are always going to be visible to me. I can of course delete those automations that I just made by clicking the parameter that was automated, saying delete automation, and that's done. I can remove these lanes as easy as that. So that's about recording automation. You can use your mouse, you can use your MIDI controller, you can use your mouse to draw it manually, like that, as we've seen in the lesson before, so you have more than one option.